All right, guys, I just got the recording going. Sorry I was a couple minutes late there. Got a serious construction job going on over here. One of my big palm trees decided to eat up one of my sewer lines. So had some crazy stuff going on this morning. All right. Anybody got anything you want to get going with here?
Yeah, I do, John.
Yeah, go ahead, Greg.
Well, this question kind of goes to the heart of the ACT program.
Okay.
And it's a question I ask when I consider a niche. And
Okay.
I've kind of invented a word. I say, is the niche email listable? For example, I consider almost nothing in e-commerce to be email listable. If, for example, you're in the bathroom accessory niche, your customers are not likely to be interested in getting emails about your latest towel rack, even if they bought a toothbrush holder from you in the past. So like the email listable niches tend to be things like anything where you can make enough money to replace your job, how to pick up a woman in a bar, relationship niche works for women, how to lose weight, you know. So my question is, how can you make lesser niches e-listable? And the example I'd like to talk about is I know a lot of people want to improve their golf game. So let's say my target customer is a 30 to 45-year-old male with a secure job, say $70,000 a year or more in income, married with 1 or 2 children, and lives in the suburbs. But can you really get this customer to subscribe and stay subscribed and open your emails if you're just an ordinary person and not a famous golfer?
Gotcha. Okay, so
Yeah.
let me just clarify and make sure I understand your term that you came up with email listable. That means that someone is going to opt in, correct?
It means that not just opt in, but they're going to follow you. You know, they're going to open the emails and you're going to be able to build that relationship.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so you're right. That does come back to the core ACT program. And that has a lot to do with figuring out if you've got something that that person is going to want. It goes specifically to the timeline exercise. If they're in a particular situation, and it doesn't have to be a bad situation, it could be just like you mentioned, like golf. Like let's say the guy wants to improve his golf game, but he's in that situation. And if you can kind of figure out why he wants what he wants, then you hold the keys to the kingdom. If you can figure out why he wants to play better golf, like maybe it might be ego, he might want to beat his friends, he might want, it's just like racing. It's like race car drivers. They want to sit on the top pedestal of the winner's circle. They don't want to be on rung 2 or rung 3 or out in the audience cheering on the winners. They want the recognition of being on that top position. So figuring that out, that is what would drive someone to get on your list to begin with, and also to keep opening your emails as long as you keep providing good value to them. The best value that you can provide is either moving them toward their desired outcome. Like if you keep sending them stuff that's going to get them closer and closer, like Frank Kern is brilliant at this. He will figure out your timeline and he'll trickle out pieces to keep you moving towards it. And he'll do that absolutely free for a long time. And then he'll get you really close. And the dating guys do this too. They get you really close to the thing you really want. And then they release, okay, here's the $2,000 product, or here's the $10,000 offer. And by that time, you're so entrenched in it. You're invested in the process that you want to complete the process. So like that's the perfect time to make an offer like that. If you made that big offer in the beginning and they weren't indoctrinated to it, they weren't invested in it, you wouldn't have a conversion ratio very good. So it is a process, and you're right. Your first step there is deciding if they're able to get on a list is an important thing. And I think the key factor to knowing if they are listable, as you call it, is to know if you've got something that really is valuable to them. And if you can communicate that in your messaging. Communication and messaging is probably one of the most key ingredients in any business success. You know, we got Gary Howarth on here. He's he's a sales guy from old school, from way back, and he makes tools to help salespeople communicate their messages effectively. And I'm sure he'll tell you the same thing. If you can't communicate the message, you're not going to make a sale. So that's really important stuff. So, figuring that out, and it all goes back to the ACT program. If you look at ad agencies, I have this conversation almost on a daily basis with customers and clients, and I say, you have to know what you have and why someone would want it. And most people don't. They want to do business, but they don't understand. They don't even understand their own product and what it does and why someone would want it. And a lot of times they think they've got something, but there really isn't a product. And they, they're excited about it and they're passionate about it, but they have zero ability to communicate it. And that's a disaster. I mean, that's a recipe for disaster in business. I have seen people sell absolute garbage. I mean, the most crap products you've ever seen, because they know how to communicate what the person wants. And they do it very unethically because the thing they've got doesn't give them what they're promising. And, that's the whole thing of good and evil. When you teach somebody like Matt Brauning, I don't know if any of you guys know him, he teaches NLP. He makes everyone, in his indoctrination process, he makes everyone promise to him that they will use it for only good. And it's the same thing like with salespeople. You can be a very powerful, persuasive salesperson, and it's my belief that you should use those powers for good, not just rip people off and sell them stuff just because you can. I think the whole ethics, and that comes back to the FTC. That is why the FTC, they're an evil enterprise. No doubt about it, because nobody regulates them. But the idea behind having an agency there to protect the consumers, I think, is really good. Because when I see these people out there and they're unethical and they're ripping people off, I think they should be put in jail. And so does the FTC. The problem is, the FTC, they're kind of like the Wild West, and no one is watching them. There's no regulation of the FTC. There's no appeals court. There's no, they make a decision. That's it. It's like it's like God just put the wrath on you. There's no going around them. So I don't really particularly care for that part of the FTC, but I do believe the fundamental core value of having being accountable, I think, is good. I think people that are out there ripping people off and lying and cheating and stealing, I think they're criminals. They've taken something good and they're using it for evil. So anyway, again, hopefully I didn't, get too far off the rails there, but the whole thing comes back to figuring out what somebody wants. I mean, it's just as simple as that. And like I said, I swear to God, I have this conversation almost on a daily basis. I think I should just record it. And then every time I get in front of somebody and I need it, I just hit the play button and just play it back, because I'm getting tired of saying it. But it's like, you know, what do you have? Why would someone want it? And what's like, look at the timeline. Where are they? How are they feeling about not having their desired outcome? That is really, really powerful stuff. If you can just figure out that, like there's a sentence that I use as a kind of a verifier for this. And you think about your prospect, you think about your ideal client. Think about them. See if you can get into their head when they're laying their head on the pillow at night. They're getting ready to go to sleep. What's going through their head? And fill in the blanks on this sentence. They're thinking, if I could only blank, then I would be able to blank. If you can answer those two things, if you can fill in those two blanks, you've got some real insight. You've got some real power to write your copy and create your calls to action and all that stuff. And you got to get really, you got to really think about that. And they're never thinking that they need your product. They're never sitting there thinking, God, if I only had the ACT program, life would be great. That's not what they're thinking. Like in the SEO world, when I sold SEO, nobody's laying their head on the pillow thinking, oh man, if I only had SEO, my business would be grand. That's not what they're thinking. It's back to the whole thing of features versus benefits. Nobody cares about the features. They only care about the benefits. So in my instance, like for the SEO thing, what they're probably thinking is, man, if I could only get a couple new customers a week, I wouldn't have to worry about payroll anymore. I'd be able to cover my payroll. Now think about that. For me, knowing that, if I want to talk to that person, I know what's important. I know they're worried. I know they're concerned every week that they're going to have to come up with payroll money. And they're probably tired of dipping into their savings to cover it. That's a very powerful conversation I could have to communicate and get them to understand that, hey, I have something that will fix that. They don't really care what it is. They just care what it does.
One thing that I run into is, okay, I get an idea, and the idea will get me what do you call it for the email list? Magnet, lead magnet.
Lead magnet, yes.
But now I've used up my idea, so I've got nothing left for the other emails or the product.
Okay, so just think about this as a sequence. And again, I swear this all goes back to the ACT program. When I look at it, the more and more I look at it and the more I teach people about it, I'm like, holy shit, this system really works. And it goes linear right through the whole process. What you have to do is the timeline, figuring out the timeline, where they are, what they want. The first step on the timeline is the lead magnet. It's what could I give them for free to allow them to take the first step and build confidence in the idea behind they can actually do this. That's your best lead magnet. Most people try and give away too much. It's just that one little bite-sized thing that they can do it, see that they did it, and go, wow, I am one step closer to what I want. What does that do? That does two key things for you. That gives them the confidence that maybe they can actually do it, and it moves them closer to what they want. So it increases their desire. Their desire and their confidence, when those two things go up, that's when people are ready to start parting with money. So if on the end of your rainbow, you want to make an offer and try and collect money for a sale, those are two key components that you need to work on, is building their confidence and creating their desire. And that lead magnet, if you do it correctly, it will do both of those. And then you take them from the first lead magnet, and the next thing that you want to do is you want to take them further. You want to give them more free stuff. After they've taken the first step, say, hey, let me educate you now. Education-based marketing. That's like webinars. That's sales videos. It's showing them how to use the thing to get what they want. And then you put a webinar, you bring them onto the webinar. And again, what you're doing, you're showing them what they need to do. You're giving them that confidence that, hey, they could do this. You have a system that will help them do it. People will pay for help. If they don't see the light at the end of the tunnel and they don't believe there's even an end to the tunnel, they're not going to pay for squat. They're not going to keep opening your emails. They're not going to keep listening to you. The way to get their ears open and the way to get them leaning in and the way to get them saying, give me more, is by moving them down the timeline, increasing their confidence and increasing their desire for the outcome. And that's your marketing campaign. So all you have to do is think out what those steps are. Most of us are experts in whatever it is that we do. We know the steps because most of us have done them ourselves to get there. That's how we become experts. The person on the other end, they don't have that experience. They don't have that know-how. They don't have that confidence. And their desire is at a low because of that, because they don't believe. That's an objection. They don't believe they can do it. Like people look at me and they're like, oh, I could never do SEO. I don't have his experience. I don't have all this stuff that they think I have that makes me a superstar. Well, all it is knowledge, and I can transfer it. So when I communicate that and I show them exactly what to do and they start seeing the results, what happens? Their confidence goes up and their desire to move forward goes up. And their willingness and ability to pay me also goes up. I mean, guys, I swear to God, it boils down to just that. It really does. This is not complicated shit. I know we try and make it that way. We confuse the hell out of everything. We put all kinds of obstacles in our way, like, I need this complicated funnel with 42 steps and 32 lead magnets and this and that, and I don't have any of that. So we get paralysis and we don't move forward. It ain't that complicated. You can do most of the stuff very quickly, and you've probably already done it before in the real world. Most of us have stood face to face with somebody somewhere at some point in time and sold them something. And it wasn't that difficult. It wasn't that hard. If you had the right conversation and the right, the right flow, and that's all we have to do is figure out what is that and replicate it. And we can turn that into a funnel pretty easily. And all it is just a conversation. If you've talked to enough people that are your tribe, you will understand them. You'll know what their objections are. You'll know what their dreams are. You'll know their hopes, and you'll know what prevents them from getting them. And if you can come in the middle and build a bridge and take them over that swamp-infested waters or alligator-infested swamp, whatever you want to call it, there's money in that. That's where the money lies in any business. I don't care where it is, what it is. Think about it. Why do people buy stuff? They don't just buy stuff just for the hell of it. I mean, in most cases, I guess I have seen that a few times, but generally they're buying something because they need something. Like, why do you buy toilet paper, right? You got a problem. You got something that needs to be cleaned up. So you buy something that fixes the job. It fulfills the thing. I mean, think about it. Everything we buy, we generally buy it for something. Sometimes it's not to, do a physical job like toilet paper. Sometimes it's significance. Sometimes that's the thing that we desire. I know that's the case in a lot of high functioning males. Like Jeff Wolf here, he caters to those high functioning males, adventure CEO. He's dealing with guys that, you know, they want to beat their chest like like they're in the Congo. And that's what he can fulfill for them, is to give them that outlet and give them those pictures and those bragging rights. That's what it's all about for them. If you have a conversation with them, and these kind of guys, it's really hard to really get to the bottom of it because they'll never expose their weakness. And you got to know that. You got to understand that about them. They'll never outright come out and say, you know, I'm really jealous because all these other guys are doing all this cool stuff, and, you know, I'm sitting here in my office. They're not going to say that. But when they see it, they want it, because they want to be that guy. They want to be the guy showing the pictures and telling the stories and having everybody sitting around the campfire in silence, just listening to their every word. Am I right there, Jeff? Pretty much right dead on with that. They want the significance. And when you boil down the male, just in general, the male is driven by significance. You know, if you flip the coin, and let's talk about women for a minute, and I'm not talking high functioning women. People they take me wrong when I talk about the difference between men and women. There's all scale of the rainbow there in men and women, but I'm talking just generality here. If you go, and we're talking back to the caveman time, it goes all the way back there. We haven't really changed much. We got a lot of cool shit now, but we haven't really changed much. The caveman, what was his job? His job was significance. Go out and kill shit, feed the family. The family depends on him. They look up to him. They admire him because he's bringing them food, right? He keeps them safe. He runs things away that are not good. And he does it for the significance. You know, we're talking caveman here. What about cave woman? She wants protection. She wants to eat. She doesn't want to get her nails dirty to do it. You know, how much have we changed, really? Now, on the other side, you know, I'll address that not all women are created equal. There are some high functioning women. Like, I know a lot of women that get really offended when I say that Bing is the search engine for women. A lot of women say, oh, I use Google. You don't know what you're talking about. Well, I do know what I'm talking about, because I've had it confirmed by Bing, from high level people in Bing, confirmed that I was right. They didn't even know why. I had to tell them. And it's just that. It's that difference between men and women. It's their core fundamental drivers. A woman, when she buys, women are more accepting of things the way they are, just as a generality. And again, I'm not talking high functioning women. I'm just generalizing here. Men want to pee on everything. They want to customize shit. They want to make it their own. They want to put their scent on it so everyone knows it's theirs, right? So we pee on stuff. So when a man buys a computer, what's the first thing he does? He's going to reconfigure everything. He's going to go in, he's going to change all the defaults, he's going to make it his own. He's going to pee on that computer. What's a woman do when she buys a computer? She plugs it in and starts using it. And what does she do? She clicks the search button, and what's the default search? Bing. So when I say that, that's why I'm saying it. It's not just a guess. I'm looking at reality there. So again, you know, it's back to those generalities. They don't work 100% of the time. So please, if I say something, don't take offense to it because you're a man or a woman and you don't agree with it. I'm talking generalities here. And again, there's a whole scale of the rainbow of functionality of women. I know some women that, you know, significant, they're more built like a man when it comes to that particular aspect. They can turn and be very feminine too, but, you know, from a business perspective, they're driven a lot like a man. A lot of high functioning women in business are like that. So, and there are the ones that take offense when I say stuff like, you know, Bing is the woman's search engine. they don't like that statement, but they should pay attention to it because I'm right on the money with it. If your audience, if your avatar is average Jane, you better look at Bing because that's where she is. If you're spending your money on Google and she's not there, how's that going to work out for you? Again, it's back to the whole ACT principle. Figure out who you're talking to. When you figure out the messaging, where are you going to give the message? You know, if average Jane is in a church and not a bar, and you're in a bar spewing your message, the wrong people are going to hear it. You're not going to get the person you wanted. You got to go where they are. You have to, if you're going to catch fish, you have to fish. You have to put your bait where that fish is. You can't go 10 miles from the fish and drop a bait and expect to catch them. That don't work that way. It doesn't work that way on land either. So anyway, anybody else? Hopefully I answered your question sufficiently there, Greg. That was a pretty damn long answer. But
yeah, that was pretty good.
I have lots of questions.
Okay, Melody, go for it.
Okay, first of all, I'm in the middle of doing a page, a splash page, and wanting to get it up, and would like to run my offer by you.
Okay.
It is for a kickboxing program, and what I was thinking of doing is getting people to giving them the first week for $1, and then
Okay.
to go to a weekly payment after that of like $20. Do you think I should have more than one option, or should it be just like everybody comes in at the same way, like with just the $1 offer?
Yeah, the simpler the offer is, the better off you will be. So you could have like a higher level. If you wanted to mix it up, here's the way you could do it. And you can take a lesson from Kartra here. With Kartra,
Okay.
when you go onto their sales page originally and you want to take the $1 trial and you want to get
Yes.
the free 15 days or 14 days, they don't offer that on the lower level. Or no, it's the 30-day. They offer the 14-day trial on all levels. But if you want the 30-day trial or you want the higher discounts or whatever, they're not available on the lowest level.
Okay.
So that's one thing to look at. The other thing, if you're going to do, and this goes for everybody, if you're going to do a $1 trial and you're going to get somebody into your program, you want to offer some high value bonuses that they get on the X day after they go to full pay. Like if it's a 30-day $1 trial, on day 31, the big bonus gets released.
So do you tell them about the bonus before they sign up for the $1, or do you tell them
Yes.
after?
No, you always tell them before. And then in the indoctrination process, you have to look at that first trial period as that's really your opportunity to sell them on sticking. Because you don't just want them for the $1, you want them in for the long haul. So you want to make sure that if that's a 30-day trial or a 14-day trial or whatever it is, you want to make sure you provide mega value during that trial period, and they get a bonus for staying on with you. Like there's
Okay, but you tell them about the bonus before they
correct.
enroll in the $1. You say you get it on day 8.
Yeah.
Or do
what you can do is, let's say this is a 60-day program. You can say, you know, I'm going to give you a taste of it for $1. I'll give you the whole first month for $1. The program runs, you know, X amount of time. Like your program might run indefinitely. And you want to tell them that during the first 30 days, we're going to build your whatever. We're going to build your skill level in anticipation of getting this really cool thing that you're going to get in the second month. Like in your case, it might be, is it a belt? Or are they getting different color belts or something?
No, but
Well-
no. And so I'll have to think of what it could be, but
Well, let's just use that as an example. Like as an example, you know, maybe the first 30 days is their training to get the belt. And then in month 2, they actually get to go to the competition and earn the belt, and they get the belt as a bonus. They don't get any of that stuff if they bug out.
right.
So you have to stage the value going forward. Really important. Dollar trials are great. It's a great way to get somebody to say yes that wouldn't ordinarily say yes. But you have to understand the mechanics. It's easy for them to bug out. You know, it's a really
Okay, and then how do you deal with so if we do just 1 week, we do a week for $1, let's say, okay, and then it automatically is going to start charging them. How much time do they need in Kartra to be able to cancel, like, so that they don't pay if they don't want to keep going, or like to cancel?
You just be very upfront with them. Like, if you look at any of my offers, whether it's the ACT program or my SEO Dominator membership, or, you know, any of my programs, I do it all the same way. I sell the program for one amount, and then I say, I'm automatically enrolling you in the ongoing support and mentoring system. You get to keep me for for under $30 a month. That's a pretty good deal, you know, and I follow it up with, you know, there's been people paying me that since 2008, just as cheap insurance, because if they use me once a year, it's well worth it. So I'm building the value. But right on my thing, if you look at any of my sales pages, it will say you're automatically enrolled in the, you know, in the ongoing support, and it's going to start charging you every 30 days. And it also says there is no commitment. You can cancel any time and never be charged that. So, but you have to say, you know, the period, this is for X amount of days, and then you'll be charged, you know, whatever it is per 30 days after that. And just say, you know, there's no long-term commitment. You can cancel. You're free to cancel at any time and never be charged a penny beyond the dollar trial.
Right. I understand. I understand that. I'm just wondering, like, how far in advance does Kartra, like, for them to go in and cancel, how long does that process take?
Oh, it's
like,
it's instant. If they
instant?
Yes. If they logged in, like, if their payment was due at noon and they logged in at 11:59 and canceled it, it's instant.
Okay. So how do we know what time it will run? Like, I don't want to be dealing with a bunch of people saying they want their money back is my thing. Like, I don't mind if they cancel. I just don't. Go ahead.
Yeah. You basically, in the offer, you just tell them, you know, there's your cancellation policy is, you know, it's 7 days or 30 days or whatever it is.
John, I believe there's a thing, sorry to interrupt, that you
No
have
problem.
an email go out to those people like a week prior or 3 days prior and say you're about to be billed. Your free trial, your dollar trial is over. And that way they get an email, and if they are like good, then they don't do anything, but it at least reminds them to cancel prior to their next billing date.
Yeah, absolutely. You can set that up with an automation that says, you know, when they purchase, and 6 days, 23 hours and 30 minutes, you can say you got 30 minutes to cancel, and, you know, or however, you could give it to them a day or two ahead of time. You could be a little nicer than giving them 30-minute notice.
Okay, I'll look at that. Cool, thank you.
But also, that's a great point that Lisa brought up. Is that's a really good thing to do, especially on a trial thing, because the more communication that you have with them, the more opportunity you have to get them to stick. Like, if I were to send that, let's say I'd send it a day or two before the trial period was over, I would reiterate all the stuff that they've received and all the stuff that's coming and all the value that they're going to get. And I would bring it right back to why they came there to begin with.
Yeah.
That way,
exactly.
even if they hadn't done anything, there's still, it's going to give them that fear of missing out, that FOMO. It gives you a chance to inject the FOMO, because the FOMO is a powerful thing to keep people paying.
Oh, I know. It works on me all the time.
Yeah, yeah. So know that and understand that and build that into your program for your benefit. I don't see that as being an evil thing, because you're really just trying to help them get what they wanted to begin with. And if you've got something that actually does that, I'm behind you 100%. Use everything in your means to accomplish the job. don't
Hey, John?
see that as
Thank
evil.
Thank you, John.
Sure. Yeah, go ahead, Roy.
I'm trying to set up lead generation. I got SEMrush, and I'd like to use that lead generation tool on my website.
Oh, the widget. Yes.
The widget, yeah.
Uh-huh.
The instructions aren't real clear. I'm having a little trouble setting it up. And you've set it up on your site, have you not?
Yes. Yeah.
I wonder if you could just walk me through how you set it up, because there's something in their instructions in my head that's not
Okay.
not being duplicated.
I don't even remember where it is in there, but I remember the process. They'll give you like a little JavaScript code.
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
So you take that JavaScript code, and I believe they probably give you instructions on where to put it, like if it's in the head tag or the footer tag or the body tag.
Well, they're not real specific on that, but
okay,
you know.
If they're not specific, you can just put it in the head tag.
Okay.
If you want it to load last, you can put it in the footer tag. And in most of those scripts, they'll work pretty much anywhere you put them anyway. So it's not
okay, but
a big deal.
Maybe the bigger question is, I've got that on the site, but if somebody logs in, I don't understand how to get it to get them to the next page where they then are able to actually get their web page analysis.
Okay. Well,
there are two different pages involved in this somehow.
Gotcha. So you might be wanting to put a pre-page to get them to opt into your database prior to using the tool, right? Is that?
And I can do that because I could use Kartra for that, right?
Correct. And
I would like to do it that way.
Okay, that would be what I would recommend, is get them into your database first. Say, hey, click here to sign up for the free website analysis.
Okay.
Let Kartra do that, and then let Kartra go to a thank you page. And I would put that code on the thank you page.
Okay.
That way. And what's supposed to happen when you put the code in the site, what's supposed to happen is there's supposed to either be a form that pops up to put their
right, it
URL
does.
in, and then click to analyze. And then when they do that, it typically, I believe it sent them an email that they needed to opt in to get the form, and then it puts it in your back end in SEMrush in your reports. So you can see, and then you can follow up with them.
Okay, so it is possible to merge the two, because it looked like they were just trying to have it all happen within their tool, but you're saying that I can integrate Kartra with the process.
Yes, you just have to do it a step ahead.
Okay, okay.
Because they have to have their own opt-in system to deliver the report and all that.
Right.
The problem is it doesn't go into your database.
Oh,
so
okay.
you
Well,
wanna,
all the more reason to use Kartra then.
Yes, yes, absolutely. So you want to get them in your database first, then give them access to that.
Okay.
There might be a way, if you've heard of Zapier or Zapier, I'm not sure which it is, it's one or the other. That's a tool that will do automations in software that is not connected. It's like a bridge between stuff. And I know that Kartra has it. They don't have it officially in, but it does work. If you go to, I'm just going to call it Zapier for sake of lack of a better word. If you go to the Zapier.com website, you will see that Kartra is there. And then you find the other thing that, you could probably find SEMrush in there, and you can create a zap between the two. So what it's basically saying is that when this action happens on your site, we're going to grab that data and we're going to zap it over here into Kartra. So it can do things like create a lead, create a tag. So without the person actually opting into Kartra, it could generate the lead and the tag inside Kartra without even having an opt-in box.
Excellent. Okay.
So that is one option that you have. I'm about to try that for the first time because I've got something that I'm going to try and connect WooCommerce to Kartra. We've got a situation where my client wants to use WooCommerce to do their selling, but they want to use Kartra to do their marketing. And I'm like, uh-oh, I got a gap here. I'm going to have people in 2 different databases. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to test it out. I'm going to create a Zap that when somebody purchases something in WooCommerce, it grabs that, it creates a lead over in Kartra and adds a tag that they purchased. So then we can take over with Kartra and we can follow up and use the automation in Kartra to, to serve them all the marketing out in the future.
I've got a prospect that would probably like to do that and would become a client. So anything you could pass on with respect to that would be very helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm willing to share anything I know.
That's great.
Happy to share with you guys.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, just ask. If I haven't done it yet, I can probably figure it out pretty quick.
Terrific.
So.
John, dovetailing off of that conversation about different databases or different things is, I'm having well, I'm wondering what your best solution is. People sign up or they get into my database under one email address, and many people have multiple email addresses, as was discussed in the chat just a minute ago. And then they'll buy a product with a different email address. As a matter of fact, I think it might even be Tammy I'm talking about. But so there's no way, as in Confusionsoft, to merge records. And the tags are different. So now I have it's taking up a lead, and I don't have unlimited leads by having 2 email addresses. Now I can go in and manually do stuff, but then what if I pick the wrong address that they never look at?
Yep.
Got a solution?
I don't really have a solution for that particular one yet, but I know of the problem because I've got the same thing. I have people that they've bought a product from me and they've got 2 different records in Kartra, and they've got the product bought under one record, and then they go in and they put a support ticket in under the other record, and I go in and I don't see the connection. I'm like, what did you buy here? I don't see any purchase history. So I have definitely experienced that for sure. And you're right.
Do you experience being able to communicate with the people at Kartra with these suggestions? Because I know that, they try their best.
I do. I mean, I know people in Kartra, and I know a lot of the stuff that they're working on. They have a very robust sheet of really cool stuff they're working on that, that they'll be rolling out. And I don't know that I've seen that particular one on the list yet. But that, data merge, record merging. I have that in another billing software that I use. I use WHMCS in the part of my company where we do web hosting. So it's a different billing system. And we have the ability to merge records there. And it poses an additional problem that you don't know which the primary one is. So in data merging, you have to be very careful. You understand like what you're merging and which one's going to take priority. Because I've done that too. I've merged data and really screwed things up, because then I got it all jacked up. Now I can't even communicate with them.
Right.
At least with 2 records, you could communicate with both of them.
True, until they opt out of one. But
yeah,
I'm in Craig's database 3 times. I get 3 emails for everything he sends.
Yeah.
But he'll figure that out, or I'll figure that. So a quick last question, and this is a Kartra question as well. I brought in a person through an affiliate. I became an affiliate.
Okay.
This is not gonna be my big income place. Who knows? But I know I've earned an affiliate. I don't remember if I set up how to get paid, and I don't know how to get back to that.
Oh, okay. Just log into your Kartra account.
Yeah.
Go down to the bottom where it says affiliate promos.
Yeah, I'm there.
And then
Yeah.
up in the top, let me see exactly what it is there.
I don't seem to see any buttons to push.
Under
That will let me know.
payments, under payments. So up at the top, it says marketplace, promotions, analytics, and payments.
Okay.
And then payment settings.
Payment settings.
Yeah.
And if it's incomplete, it will cause me to,
It will still track all of your payments. They just won't send it to you. And until you go into payment settings and put in a payment method and do your tax document, they will hold your funds.
oh, I think I've got it as PayPal.
That's fine. If you have
Oh.
PayPal, they have a way to pay you. And if you do the tax record, they will release the funds to you.
Okay, and I'm unclear if I've done my it says my tax form filled in.
Okay, then you should be good to go. They usually hold
Okay,
funds,
all right.
I believe, for 30 days. So
Got it. And that's a next question I didn't know. So
yeah, they'll hold funds for 30 days to cover refund periods and all that. Like I know with my affiliate program, I do all my payouts on the 1st of the month. So that's like one of my favorite days of the month because I get to pay everybody and then I see how much I made. So like the more I pay, the happier I am. I want to get to the point where I'm paying out 100,000 a month. That's my goal, is to pay out 100,000 a month.
and because I signed up for Kartra under you and you're a broker, don't you also get 10% of this guy?
Yes, correct.
Well, congratulations.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, believe me, that stuff adds up. Let me ask you this. You signed up one person, right?
Yes.
How hard was it?
Easy.
Could you do it 9 more times?
I might be doing it again today. We'll see, because it just seems to be a natural conversation. But you know,
you think you could do it pretty easily 9 more times, right?
Yeah.
That's 400 a month.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah. That's it. And better than that, it is
Car payment.
that's almost $5,000 a year.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Think about
That's
it
the
that
next
way.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whenever I look at stuff, I always look at the long term. Like this is where client value, customer value, lifetime value of a customer. That's the way I look at everything. Like when I bring on a new client for Kartra, I don't look at it as, oh, well, you know, I just made 40 bucks. I look at that as I just made 480 bucks per year. I just gave myself a raise. That's the way I look at it. That gives me a really good incentive to sign someone else up.
A lot of the thought leaders out there that have been using Infusionsoft, you know, when I came from that to this, I now see are promoting Kartra as well.
Mm-hmm.
So they're now moving into, you know, not only do you need so it's going to become a conversation that if we don't jump on it soon, it'll be flooded. So I feel like we're on the.
This is the time to get people locked into it.
Yeah.
You know? This is like back in the beginning when web hosting was just getting started. It was like you could acquire customers like crazy. And either what I would do if you're going to try and acquire customers for Kartra is either get decent at it yourself so you can help them to retain them. Like what Melody was talking about, the problem is retention sometimes, getting people to continue to pay for something. If you can help them get it in their business so they're actually using it, they'll pay for it forever. And if you don't, find someone that can. Like, that's one of the things that Tammy is doing. Tammy's on the call. She's getting good at helping people get it set up. And I'm sure she would be more than happy to help your people. If you don't want to do that, just set them up and then send them over to her to set their campaign up.
Yeah, yes, because one of them is a producer friend of mine who has, you know, he's leaving a ton of money on the table. So he signed up yesterday. One is somebody I'm speaking today who wants to be a coach like me for actors, but you have to have a system. So yeah, it's not anything I'm putting out on the internet, like, or, you know, not through digital marketing to become Kartra, but, you know, it's been my desire to move out of my starving artist community, not move out, but to complete that. And then move into my next phase, which is women in business. I know there's a lot of people in it, but for their digital presence, SheBiz. And that will include Kartra setup, website, social media, all that stuff too. So packages that way.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at I'm trying to form a deal with Zoom right now where I can be a what's called a bundle integrator. And what that means is I could integrate Zoom in my ACT mentoring bundle. So people would get a Zoom account, not only a Zoom account, a 500-seat webinar Zoom account.
Nice.
As being in part of my program. I'm looking at that for retention.
Okay.
Because, you know, once people get into Zoom, you know, they'll use Zoom forever and ever and ever. You know, it's a great deal.
Well, thank you so much. I'm glad to be here. It's my first time and not my last. So
awesome. Well, yeah, welcome aboard. I can't keep track. We have lots of new people popping in here now all the time. All my great affiliates are out there spreading the word. That's been my weakest thing. I mean, if I were to have a weak spot, it would be in telling people how good the ACT program really is. I mean, I believe it to my core, but I just don't do a good job of like ringing my own bell out in public. So thank you to all the great affiliates that are doing that for me.
Yeah.
Shanta, yeah, go ahead.
Quick question. When you do get that Zoom set up, will you make a deal that when we get out of our Zoom, we can switch to your Zoom and get that webinar option as well?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, you can keep your same account. I can just take over the billing for you.
Awesome.
So nothing will change in your account other than you will get upgraded. So you'll go from whatever level you are up to, and it's not only a 500-seat webinar, it's the 500-seat Zoom as well, with all the bells and whistles.
That's great.
That's what I'm shooting for. Lisa, you were muted there.
Yeah. How much do you think that will cost? I mean, I'm only at the basic, the $14.95 a month level for 100 people in a meeting.
I'm looking at including it in your $30 a month with me.
Okay, I'm in.
Hey, how do we get retroed into it, John?
How's that?
Yes.
Rock on. Yeah, that's great.
That's my goal in using it as a client retention tool. You know, like I give you guys a lot of really cool stuff. Not too many people use most of the stuff, but like I give you guys a free account with, it's called Interactor, which is an interactive video software where you could actually create an interactive sales video. And it is the most dynamite piece of software for creating engagement on your site. And so few people use that.
Is that in your resources?
Yeah. If you were to go buy that, you'd be paying like $67 a month for that service. I give it to you. It's part of your membership. You know, I've got so many cool things. And again, I don't think I have done a very poor job of conveying that. So here I'm telling you all to communicate well, and I'm blowing it over here. Shame on me. All right. Anything else here before we wrap up for today? All right, guys. Well, any of you that are in Craig's group, I'm going to be on there for 4 hours talking about Kartra this afternoon. So for those of you that are going to be on there, I will see you in about an hour, and have a great week. Thank you guys all for coming on, and this is awesome. Our calls are,
See you there.
hopefully they're good for everybody.
Thank you, John.
Thank
They're really
you, John.
Okay, cool. I will talk to you guys next week.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye-bye.